On this episode, we're removing and replacing the radiator. Now, as far as I know, there's nothing wrong with this radiator other than it's about 40 years old. But we have the Vick Auto aluminum radiator, and we're going to shove that in there. It's bigger. It's going to provide better cooling. Got more modern fans, so they're going to draw less amps. It's an overall win. So all you missed me doing was taking off the front grille and then the lower valence. I had some of that on video, but tool handler came over, stole my camera, and he's running around making a music video right now. So here we go. This car has air conditioning. So this is our AC condenser. This is our radiator. So this is all going to come down. We're going to have to take this off. It's going to hang because it's permanently attached to the car via the lines. It's fully charged, so I don't want to, lose any Freon. It's not Freon anymore, but you know what I mean. And then to get the radiator out, I'm pretty sure it's just these two bolts on either side. So we'll see what we can do. And yeah, that's what we'll do. I can't push. Got it. And then oh, what was that other thing that just cut loose? So this is the breather for the top. So now I need to take this condenser loose from the radiator. Probably gonna have to keep this. We'll see. So these are 10 millimeters. The top ones are not gonna use a tool. I have to use a spanner. Radiator is out. Son of a, come on. Heavy, and still had water in it. So the hoses are labeled. Top hose. They got some tags in them. You want to take those out. Top hose. Doesn't tell you which side. But that's okay, we'll figure it out. Probably the long one goes on top and the short one goes on the bottom. But we'll figure it out. So So the last people that put a radiator hose in there, they didn't take this off. It was from Vick Autosports because that's what the tag said. And it's the same kind, McKay, from Australia. And this one's not in too bad a shape, but since we have replacements, we'll use them. We're going to want to orient them the same. Don't do that. Let's move these over here. So if we measure across the core, we're at 2 inches. If we measure across the core, we're at 2 1/4. So slightly wider. Ten and a half. 10 and a half. 30. 29 and a half. Yeah, definitely 30 and 29 and a half. So a ½ inch smaller. I weighed that one before. I weighed this one before and it was 25 pounds. This one, not very much. So what we got to do first is put on our temperature sender. You make sure you take these off before you hook it up. And then we got to put fans on, and then we'll weigh it and see what it is. I know it's going to be lighter. Not that that matters too much, but you know, every couple of pounds is better for horsepower. I know, just eat less, lose weight, and it's the same thing. It's not. So we could put these fans on here, right? They mount. But we have the new fans, and they draw less amps, so we're going to use those. Like that. So if we take this and set it on top, then those holes match up. So lower profile, which is always better for handholds, or also the kit has the run them through the middle with the plastic ties. These work fine, but they will degrade and break over time, so you have to check those. And this goes up on the shelf. So these are M6s. These pieces are stainless, so they're not going to rust. And then if you look at your fan, right, so this one, the plug's oriented up. We can go like this. We cannot. So we'll just run an inboard. And I think these will plug into the connectors like this. Yep. Okay, so it's just plug and play. So first we're going to attach our connectors to the fan like this. And like this. And I'm not sure what size this is, so I'm going to use the metric side. Oh no, not big enough. Oh, look at that. Perfect. This is a nice plug. Now I need this. I use the metric side. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh. Damn, that thing is heavy. So this one already has a washer on it. Let's make sure it fits good. Yep. Okay, so some Teflon tape. Now then, there's always questions about fan switches and wiring. So this is just a ground. Okay? So hot wire goes to the fan side. This is the ground. And when this heats up, it clicks and grounds out the circuit, and then electricity flows to turn the fans on. So it's pretty simple. This is always grounded to fans. And the pink stuff is water line specific. You can use the white stuff. You could use gasket sealer, mud, glue, whatever you want. Just make sure it's sealed. And then you want to put this on pretty tight, but you know, now we're working with aluminum. Oh crap, I swapped to the American side. I think that's good enough. Now, the only other thing I'm going to need is this cap over here to come over here, I think. Because you're not going to be able to reach this. Through. And that is nice. And this looks like 8mm, maybe a 10. 8mm it is. Oh, look at that, the shit. The shit was loose. So this is so you can bleed the radiator from air when you're filling it. It's got a little, it's like a banjo bolt. So hole in here, two holes on the side, air comes out. Some fluid's going to come out if you're not careful. It has a paper washer. Let me clean this off because it's dirty and I don't like it. So it had a paper washer around it. We're not going to reuse that. So we're going to use a copper crush washer. Technically the copper is probably harder than the aluminum. So still have to be careful. And we really don't need to tighten this yet because we still have to bleed the system. The new Texas heat radiator from Vick Autosports is assembled. That one was 25 pounds. This one is nowhere near 25 pounds. So, I'm going to put it on the scale and we'll see what it weighs. So the factory radiator was 25 pounds. The one from Vick's, 14 pounds. So we saved 11 pounds by switching them out. So that's a pretty significant weight savings. 11 pounds. That's good. There's a formula for that. Every X amount of pounds is the equivalent of 1 horsepower. I don't have it in my head anymore. I used to know it in the 80s when you had to remember everything. Now you just look it up. I'm going to need that rubber grommet after all. I can see that. God bless America. And it's only slightly warped from them putting it in wrong. But what do you expect, right? So that's going to go on a different pile. This goes on here like that. Oh, good fit. That's a good fit. Okay. So we're done. Now, I know what you're saying. Good, put it back in the car. No, I can't. Why? I have issues. Syndromes. I can't put this back in the car. It's covered in rust. So, we have to sandblast it, paint it. And then I have to go inside that area and clean and paint that as well. So that is all for radiator assembly. Putting the fans on, the switch, the bleeder. We're done. This is probably gonna have to be tightened. Definitely gonna have to be tightened. And we're probably gonna have to put some Teflon on it. So let's do that right now. Before we forget, and then you wonder, see, it wasn't even tight. Then you want to know why your radiator's leaking. So this one has a rubber washer on it too, but honest, that's only for checking for leaks when they build it. If you tighten this down, it's going to deform and crush and tear, and it's not going to work. And I think, never mind. And then we'll go ahead and give it a snug. I'm just being greedy. Yeah, I wanted it like that. £11 lighter, thicker. So, you know, in general, a better cooling unit. These fans are going to draw more air than those fans. They're lower profile. They're going to spin faster. They're going to draw less amps. You know how Fiats are about amperage. They don't like it very much. So that's it for this. You saw me take it out. So install is reverse of removal. But when I get everything painted and cleaned up, we'll continue on and probably make another video. Thanks for watching. Y'all have a good day.